My significant other's guy friend is bullying me, telling me choice words that, well, I don't want to hear. So I tried to tell my significant other, but she thinks that I'm making this up because, and I quote, my friend would never say those kind of things to you. I think you're a liar. Well, you know what? If I'm such a liar, then how did I catch him red-handed when I snuck in and recorded him saying this? Me and my significant other have been dating since before COVID. Well, we started dating a few weeks back before this stuff happened, so over 3 years now. We've been super happy together and got a place together at the start of the year. She has a friend, let's call him John. They have been BFFs since they were kids, and he's very openly gay and is married to his husband. I met John once before the pandemic, and he and his husband joined us on our second date. It was only recently that he was actually around and tried to do stuff with us and his husband. Honestly, I never really liked John. He's always been somebody who demands everyone pays attention to him. If you have an interesting story, he'll constantly try to interrupt you and try to tell him his own things that are always, and I quote, much more cool. If he cannot one-up you, he'll just immediately try to change the topic, or someone calls him out on his bullcrap. He's always been somewhat hostile to me to the point where I never really liked it. The last few months, he's pretty much just straight up started bullying me, criticizing everything from my clothes to my appearance to even things I like. The last week, it got super freaking bad. When both me and my significant other mentioned we're going on vacation to Japan for a month, something we both wanted to do, John was apparently really hurt by it. Apparently, him and my significant other talked about that for years but never did it due to COVID. I tried to be nice and suggested him and his partner come with us, and he told me he would not ever want to go anywhere and be seen with a loser like me. Okay. Well, tonight was one of our mutual friends' birthday, and John showed up after being invited by my significant other. You see, at one point in the evening, he pulled me aside when I went to the bathroom and spent 5 minutes throwing an insane amount of shade at me. Everything from I'm disgusting, I'm garbage. Then he outright told me to break up with my significant other or he would do it for me because our relationship straight up disgusted him. I've told my significant other multiple times, like, hey, can you tell John to cool it? I don't like this. I do not like this. Well, I don't want to be around him. John immediately denies everything. He says that I'm not even saying the correct stuff and I'm just making it up. He also only does it when my significant other is not present. Tonight I told her word for word what happened and she just said she doesn't believe me at all. She's known him for a quarter of a century and she's never seen anything like that, so I asked if she thought that I was lying then, and she said I was just embellishing what he was saying, and she can tell that he's unhappy about our relationship, but that doesn't change anything for her. She loves me, and, well, that's that. Honestly, I feel hurt. I feel like she's taking his side always, and it just makes me feel like crap. I don't really know if I can continue this relationship. It just feels so stupid. Edit. Sorry, I just woke up. Trying to read everything. Also, to clarify something, my reactions generally to be extremely nice and just to take it on the chin. All of her other friends love me, and some of them have mentioned they really dislike John. I need to leave for work, but I'm going to try talking to her one final time, and if that fails, try to record it. Edit 2. Just before I run for work, thank you all for taking the time out of your day to give me advice. Thank you. What's up, everybody? Mr. Reddito here. So today's story is pretty wild. It's a back and forth drama, but we're going to take a look at quite a few relevant comments before we hop into the update because, oh man, the comment section was popping off. Alright, here's one comment. It says, and she just said she doesn't believe me at all. Guys, that's not an appropriate answer. And another quotation, she can tell he's unhappy about our relationship, but that doesn't change anything for her. She loves me, and that's that. Has she told him this, says a commenter? Another context clue says, I don't really know if I can continue this relationship. It just feels so stupid. Well, that's totally understandable. By not acting on this, your partner is worsening the conflict and allowing you to not feel heard. If she can't trust you on this, why are you in a relationship at all? And that comment finally got the attention of OP, who replied saying, hey, she's made it abundantly clear that we're a couple, multiple times. However, I don't know if those exact words were said to John. I don't know. Honestly, if it wasn't for this issue, our relationship would basically be perfect, which is why this hurts so darn much. And one final comment, and the OP replies, let's check it out before the update. It says this. One thing I don't understand. Why have you put up with this for so long? The second time he trash-talked you, I would have told him to duck off. And every subsequent time after that, he tried to talk to you alone. I would have just walked away. Why did you engage? Why don't you talk to John's partner? Tell him what's happening. Ask him if John's really gay, or maybe he's bisexual and has carried a torch for your girlfriend. If he wants to duck around with your relationship, you should mess around with his. As for your girlfriend, I don't know. On the one hand, if you break up, John wins. But on the other hand, is there a future in a relationship where your girlfriend doesn't have your back? That's petty, and me, I don't know. I'd get a voice recorder. Record him talking trash to you. Play it back to your girlfriend saying, quote, that's why you should have believed me. Hey, we're done. And then walk away and leave them all to sort out their crap. Sorry, I probably just haven't been much of a help. At least don't engage with John anymore. Anytime the two of you are left alone, just walk away. Whatever else you decide, good luck. Well, that was the number one comment, and here's the final response by OP before the update. Well, I don't know, I just ignore him when he does it. However, when he threw all that shade at me, he was literally blocking the hallway, preventing me from even passing. I'm a small guy. John's big. And by the way, you asked me, why don't you talk to John's partner? Well, his partner is, frankly, just as bad as he is. Even worse in some regards. All he ever does is just put people down. Any comment you say to him, he treats it as a slight. Apparently he was livid that my significant other apparently made a suggestion for the look of their new place. My significant other and him don't really get along. Going to try to record him instead. We leave it at that. Now let's jump into the update. Guys, I hope you're enjoying your day. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Here's update number 1. Well, I got a lot of good advice, so thank you. Unfortunately, it does not have a good ending. I tried talking to my significant other. I sat down with her, tried to have a serious conversation with her. I got him to stupidly rant about how much he thinks I'm garbage over WhatsApp. He's apparently not racist, but his reasoning is this. I'm nowhere near attractive enough apparently for her, and I'm, quote, batting way above my average. And the only reason she's even with me is pity. My career as a software developer contributes, quote, absolutely nothing to mankind. It gives me a better than you everyone attitude, and I'm, quote, painfully boring. And just being around him makes him want to assault me physically. My voice is unbearable. Well, grating on him. I made a few comments explaining how petty that sounds, and he lost it over WhatsApp. I even got some of her friends to comment and say they don't like to be around John. One of her friends ranted to me about John saying that he tried to make her destination wedding about him and his husband. Today I sat down with her. I explained to her how I felt and showed her the conversation in the comments, and I went with the angle of, I don't want you to cut your best friend off from your life. I just don't want you to be around this person at all thinking it would be diplomatic. She took it very poorly. She even accused me of being manipulative by egging him on in the conversation. I said, quote, "What's your problem with me?" She said I'm being extremely manipulative and I'm doing what her ex tried to do by controlling who she can be friends with. She told me she didn't want to be around me and needs space and has decided to go stay with some family while, well, she sorts out her feelings. This evening she messaged me and said our relationship's over and she'll collect her stuff when she calms down. She doesn't want to discuss it as it's her final decision. I'm in shock right now. On top of that, it seems like she cut ties with a bunch of her friends who supported me. I don't understand her reaction at all, and I just feel devastated. Part of me just wishes I kept my mouth shut, but I just cannot take being bullied and it being ignored by someone who's supposed to love me. I feel lost and hurt, I guess. So, sorry, but thank you all for the nice comments. Alright guys, so we already covered some of the comments during the reading of the story. However, there's a couple comments I do want to cover. Many people are saying how John is just way overboard. He should not be involved in this, and it's clear that he just wants to be the center of attention. But I'll read one of the top comments, which basically sums up a lot of the other comments too. What weird dynamics in that friendship. John is like an abusive, controlling partner to her, but he's supposedly happily married? Doesn't make much sense. As OP said, John must be a person who cannot suffer not being the center of attention. So it just goes on and on, many comments saying that, but I want to hear from you guys. Let's say you were in OP's position. You try to tell your significant other something that you found out about her, well, BFF, and she doesn't believe you. How do you go about handling that? Drop your comments down below. Let's spark a conversation. Now we're going to cover another story, story number 2 of the day, and the title is this. Am I the a-hole for kicking my son's girlfriend right out of my home? My husband and I recently met my son's girlfriend for the first time. He's been crazy about her. Apparently they've been dating for a year before he decided to have her meet us officially. When he's told us about her, all seems great. She just got her degree, was enjoying her job, family-oriented, etc. I'm honestly just glad he's happy with her. My husband and I don't think he's ever been this into someone before, so I feel pretty bad about what I did. Last weekend, he brought her over for dinner. By now, we'd been anticipating meeting her with how much our son had been gushing about her. How perfect she is, that she's the one, in his words. They ring the doorbell. We open the door. She looks exactly like her pictures, which is a great start. My son's grinning ear to ear, another great start. We invited them in. She accepts my hug and a firm handshake from my husband, and then she opens her mouth. I'm the one your son sticks his thingy in. Well, to be frank, I was appalled. I expected my husband to laugh. Both he and my son are jokesters and are always annoying, as it can be, but I love it. But this was just too much for me. Maybe I'm reserved, but of all things she could have shared about my son, she told us that. One look at my face and my husband knew how much I disapproved. Maybe I let my expectations get too high and it's unfair to have them, but I reiterate, of all the things to say to her boyfriend's parents, whom she's never met, she chose to say that. Well, my son was amused at first, but when he noticed my reaction, his face also dropped. I felt like she sold me the full package, everything we had always been looking for in a girlfriend. I was too disturbed by the visual it put in my head, and it translated into anger. I told her to get out. And I wanted to say more about how gross it made me feel, but I unfortunately left it at that. My son didn't want to go, insisting I give her another chance, but I was too fed up. I was uncomfortable by this point. Even my husband, who's enjoyed his fair share of raunchy jokes, would not let up. They left, and I immediately felt guilty. This was something my son had really looked forward to, and I feel like I took that away over a dumb joke. I tried calling to apologize, but he hasn't responded. My husband thinks she's the one who should apologize. I'm considering giving her another chance, but before I do, was I the a-hole? Drop your comments down below. Let me know how you feel. What's up, guys? Mr. Reddito here. Okay, so there was an update. It happened just a few days later. But first, let's take a look at some comments that were relevant in the very first posting. The question was, is it possible your son told her to say that? Well, OP replies saying, this honestly would not surprise me, but I'm not gonna lie, I'd be disappointed in him. That's not something he'd ever say in front of me directly, because he knows I'm not a fan of any personal jokes of that nature. So to make his girlfriend say it would not be very good, and I'd hope that if that is the case, that he makes it up to her somehow. I'll try to reach out again to let them know we can try again. That possibility makes me feel 1,000 times worse. Comment question number 2. Did she even try to apologize? Or was she just nervous? Well, I honestly don't think I gave her enough time to react properly, and I regret that. Things could have gone a heck of a lot smoother if I did. She was just sort of frozen in shock, and she kept looking at my son just to try to convince me not to kick her out. I guess she wasn't sure what else she could do or say at that point. It's hard to say for sure because I don't know her that well yet, but I think she was anxious. Too much to realize what she had said was completely over the top. So if she was embarrassed, I simply could not tell. I also don't think I gave her much of a chance since it all happened so quickly. I'll try to reach out to my son about it. Next question. Has your husband been making any raunchy jokes leading up to her visit? Something like, can't wait to meet the person you're sleeping with, son. I can honestly say no to that one, though. I've never heard my husband say anything like that. I mean, yeah, he's raunchy, but not when it comes to our children, ew. OP finally reflects. I agree, I should have been more patient about it. I think if we're just trying to get things to go much smoother, hopefully we can laugh about this later down the line and just leave it at that. I wish I took this approach without making too many excuses for myself. I can say I got too caught up in the heat of the moment. I'd love to give her another chance, just as long as I'm not given any more graphic visuals, especially at dinner time. I hope she's willing to try again. He's not forcing me to give her another chance. I want to do it over. I think we all deserve that. I don't think she'll make another joke like this again anyways. Can you try texting or contacting her directly? I would love that approach, but I unfortunately don't have any way of contacting her except through my son. He said he'll give me a call when he gets the chance, so surely by the end of the week. I can't imagine how badly I made her feel about this, and yes, I do regret it. A few heavily downvoted comments, and I quote, "You should be more sex positive." And OP says, not gonna lie, I think this took an extreme turn. I'm not all against sex positivity or whatever it is. I'm well aware it's human nature and that my son does it. I know it's normal. But I'm entitled to my ignorance about the details. They've already been dating a year. I'd be surprised if they weren't doing it. That does not warrant her saying it, though. Edit. Sometime in the next couple of days. /update. I should clear things up. My husband is in no part of my reaction. I did the kicking out, not him. I don't want him taking the fall for this. He said she should have apologized, but I'm not expecting an apology. Sorry for the confusion. My son lives in a nearby state. It can take about an hour to get back to where we live, and he also hasn't dated anybody serious for a while. Maybe a couple of years. He told us before that he would not bring anybody home unless he's sure he wants a future with her. We've been asking to meet her ever since he told us about her, but he just wanted us to be ready. The comment about her looking like her pictures exactly shows my age. Well, sorry for that. He's only shown us her pictures, and she sent him as he is apparently didn't have any of them together. He hates taking pictures. He says it all the time. She's always teasing him about it. I don't think he'd ever lie about who she is, but it's just a parental concern I've subconsciously had. I felt the same way about my daughter's then boyfriend when we first met him. I don't have any criteria that either of my kids' spouses need to meet. I just hope my kids are happy with him. What I meant by her being the quote full package was indicative of what he's told us about her. As his parents, we have a good idea of what he looks for in a partner, and she checks off everything based on what we've been told. And on top of everything, aside from what she said, her appearance was how she presented it to be. Again, we weren't strict about appearances, it's just a relief to have met someone for the first time. And they look like what you'd expect. My husband said that I was worried about secondhand catfishing, if that's even a thing. Well, I guess it shows how anxious I was about this whole debacle. Also, thank you for your comments and award. I've had a bunch of people reach out to me personally. Thank you for that. Regardless of where you are and where you stand, I appreciate it. I personally thank everybody, and I just think everybody needs some room for improvement here, but I've done my part to make amends, and I'm waiting on my son to call me. I'll be sure to give an update about how it goes. Final update, 1.5 weeks later. Guys, this is just a short update to wrap it up. Thanks for reaching out. My son got in touch with me. His girlfriend agreed to try again. We all met at a nice little restaurant, and my son and his girlfriend chose. The first thing she said was an apology for what she said. I apologized for my reaction. We hugged. It was nice. She then explained how my son had convinced her a joke like that would land well, and that she would not have said it if she did not think we'd like it. According to my son, she was reluctant to open with any joke at all. But they came up with that one together on the way over. You guys were right, it was my boy. She's a really sweet girl. She's actually very mature. I see why my son likes her so much. My husband, well, we really like her. We told our son to bring her when he visits, and we look forward to seeing them again. Overall, I'm glad we could finally just start over fresh. On the right foot this time. Thank you everybody for your input, and this one is over. Okay, so this story was bonkers. I'm talking off the wall. Well, the biggest hang-up of this story in the comment section that many people are just keep saying is this. I don't get it. So the son never told you, hey mom, I told her to say that. She didn't want to say a joke when she came in. The son never thought to even mention it, not even once. Like, what was he thinking? Just going to throw his new girlfriend under the bus to his parents? The same girlfriend that he wanted so hard to be impressed by his parents. It just didn't make any sense, and a lot of people think that the son handled the situation horribly. But let me know your opinions. As always, let's talk about this in the comment section, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on today's video. I hope you enjoyed the two-part video special. If you did, show a little support by subscribing, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.